Hey, good morning and welcome back to another edition of Lincoln Logs TV. A little weird today. We're home. We're sitting. This virus outbreak thing kind of throwing everybody for a loop. We went ahead and shut down. Technically, the governor said all essential businesses can stay open, and technically, since we're a service company, I think we're allowed to stay open. But I sent Mike and Ray home. It's just not worth it. We were at a point on that kitchen to where we could stop. We're waiting for cabinets, for countertops to be manufactured and installed. So that's a couple weeks. So the timing worked out perfectly for us. So Mike and Ray hadn't had a week or two off, and it's probably been a year and a half since either one of them had a vacation. Not that this is really a vacation, but it does give them some time off. They do side projects all the time. So I went ahead and just said, let's be safe. Let's be smart for our client. Let's just go ahead and get out of there. We finished up everything a couple days ago that we could. And that's where you're going to see this video leading into. But really, just thought let's be safe rather than sorry. So we're at home. The work never stops. So a ton of paperwork. As you can see behind me, I've got more crap in this place I need to put away. So really, what this video, what this episode is more about is I went ahead and combined the cabinets and the painting into one project, or into one episode, just because there wasn't enough content to fill two separate episodes. I didn't want to have 2 3-minute episodes. It didn't seem like it made a lot of sense. So combine those. Also took a little trip in the Lowe's where we got the cabinets from this time, so you guys just kind of get a look at what they have to offer. Nothing real detailed. I didn't get permission to film there, so I was kind of in and out quickly when I was picking up some stuff earlier today. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. You guys help make this thing happen. If you have an idea, if you have a comment, please feel free to leave a comment in there. If you see something you like, if you're a professional and you have a different idea how things should be done, throw a comment in there. I'm always receptive. I read all comments. And I really am appreciative of you guys watching and commenting. I don't have all the answers to everything. We kind of go through stuff as it happens here. So planning can only get us so far. So we like comments. We like content. We like for you guys to put input on these things, especially if you're a professional, how you do it, products you use, and things of that. So yeah, stay tuned. Get a look at what's going on. We're at a good spot in this project. Thanks for tuning in. It's time to install our cabinets. We've got some nice plywood cabinets, solid plywood cabinets here. Good construction, nice doors, nice hinges, mortise and tenon, all the things we like to see. So the layout of this thing is actually really important. When you lay out a kitchen, there's some certain benchmarks you have to be set on. For example, we wanted the sink to be dead center of that window. So this cabinet has to line up perfectly with the center of this window, okay? Pretty easy, all right? You can never change a corner cabinet, all right? You can never move a corner cabinet. So the corner cabinet has got to set tight in both corners. You can shim it out a little bit to get it level, but this is a benchmark. This inside corner is a benchmark. So we always set the inside corner cabinet first. Then we go 2 directions. We go out this way and we go out this way. So we'll have a dishwasher here next to our sink, a little panel, and then we'll have 2 side panels and a large refrigerator up here. On this side, it's pretty easy. Our benchmark is going to be this casing. So we go from this casing all the way down this wall, and we terminate at this corner. So we'll have a set of lower cabinets down here. So once these guys start setting this stuff up and getting them installed, we'll get a look at how they do that. A couple hours later, and Ray's got most of our base cabinets set on this wall. Everything's set in the middle here. Corner's set. Perfect fit with this cabinet, this 21-inch base cabinet. We'll have our range here with a little 9-inch cabinet, and then that range will go here. We'll have upper cabinets up here as well, and then on the other side of that window we'll have some upper cabinets. This is where our dishwasher is going to sit right there with a little side panel on it. You can see we like deck screws on these. We use deck screws or finish head screws on these. It grabs real tight and sucks in. Some guys use the broadhead washer screws. Those are okay, but you'll see we also combine the cabinets. We join them together through the stiles. All right, we do that on every cabinet. It gets this joint nice and tight. You can see how tight he's got that. It's supposed to originally design to look like one giant piece of wood, but nice and smooth, nice and flush. We use special clamps, these cabinet face clamps that fit around there, and we clamp down on both sides of that, and it draws those 2 cabinets together, and we hold it in place so we can drill a hole up here. We drill that hole, and then we use a finish head deck screw and draw those cabinets together. It looks real nice when it's done. You can see here he's got this upper section of cabinets installed. This is where our microwave range hood will go here. Couple details you'll notice. The space from this cabinet to the window casing is exactly the same as from this cabinet to the window casing. It's a balanced look. It looks really sharp. All right, Ray's clamped it in place. Now he's aligning it, and he's going to drill a pilot hole for our screw. Now he's going to sit that screw and draw that tight. Lines up the face of those cabinets really nice. He's just going to move up the panel. This is a side panel for a refrigerator. He's going to do the same thing all the way up to that height where his hand is. All right, a quick note about cabinets. One of the things I'm always preaching to my guys is be in a hurry to get it done right, but don't be in a hurry to get it done wrong. All right, a lot of detail has to go into cabinets. A lot of times with cabinets, there's zero margin for error. One bad screw, one scratch, one nick, one ding on a door, and we are really kind of behind the 8 ball on the time clock. It can take 6 weeks for a new cabinet to come in. We've had situations to where we get a broken cabinet in a box that was shipped to us, and it stops the job. For 6 weeks, we have to go somewhere else and come back after we get the replacement cabinet. So I always preach to my guys, take your time. Work like this, you really only get one chance, so we take our time. We're paying extreme attention to detail. We almost change our mindsets when it comes to this kind of work. It's really important. The finishes, this is kind of the first phase of the really detailed finishes on a project. And it's one of those things where if you don't do it right, you're gonna cost yourself money and you're gonna cost yourself time. It's gonna keep you off another job, and it's gonna be bad with the homeowner. It can be bad with the homeowner. Not everybody's understanding of mistakes. So we try to do what we can to eliminate or limit those mistakes and just be good at what we do. Really detailed, we're just trying to pay attention. So today we're stopping in at Lowe's. We actually got all of our cabinets for this project from Lowe's. We don't normally do that. Lowe's is a really nice place to pick up stuff here and there. We get almost all of our electrical and plumbing equipment from here. It's very convenient, and it's actually only about literally 3 minutes away from my house. So I'm in here sometimes 5 times a day, but we don't normally buy stuff like cabinets from them. But the homeowner had shopped cabinets before we came into the project. And fell in love with this stuff. So we ordered, and actually went well. They came really in great shape. They're good cabinets. They have solid plywood, sides and bottoms, good quality, solid doors. The finishes were pretty decent on them. The reason I'm here for this is I'm picking up a door panel. One of the door panels got crushed in or beat in during shipping to the project site, which is pretty normal with any cabinet company. So we're gonna take a quick walk through there, pick up that door, and I'll do some B-roll, let you guys see what's going on in Lowe's today. time to paint. All right, all our cabinets are installed. Jose came on Friday and measured all our cabinets, so those are being fabricated this week and next week. So once he gets done, we'll have him come in and install. But in the meantime, we've got to get all of our painting done and get everything cleaned up and prepped for him. So what we're going to do is talk about some of our processes here with what we use. The first thing we do with every paint project is we clean. We get all the walls sanded down. Everything's nice and smooth and ready for primer and paint application. But we have to vacuum everything out. We cover everything up. We get all of the cabinets covered. We get all of our floors covered with rosin paper. Any of the spaces we're going to be in, we'll put drop cloths down before we start applying it. The first coat of anything for us is always primer. We use pre-primed trim a lot of the time, so like our baseboard, our casings and moldings, we try to get pre-primed pine, MDF, or something along those lines. It just saves a priming step and actually saves quite a bit of work, quite a bit of material and labor on that. Could be hundreds or even thousands of dollars in primer and labor if we can use pre-primed over raw wood. It doesn't always work out that way, but a lot of times it does. Any of our drywall repairs, patches, anywhere we floated to smooth out a surface, we prime. We put primer on it. If it's already been painted, we don't necessarily have to prime it. We just have to make sure it's clean. So we go all the way to the point of we wipe down the walls. We use wet sponges and wipe all the dust and grime off the walls before we paint. So let's get a look real quick at what's going on with our paint, the stuff we use from Sherwin-Williams. We're a big Sherwin-Williams company. We love those guys. They do great work for us. They have great products. They have great coverage. I used to be a Porter paint guy, a PPG guy, but then we switched a few years ago to Sherwin-Williams just because they were open on one random Sunday we were working, and that's all it took. So let's take a look and see what kind of paint we use for these projects. All right, so let's take a minute and talk about the products we use when we paint. This is a hugely important factor in a successful job, the type of paint and where you get it from. I've used a lot of different kinds of paints, and really, the higher the quality, the better the result. There's no question about that. So the first thing we always start with any job is primer. This is the Sherwin-Williams multi-purpose interior exterior. We put this on all of our unfinished drywall surfaces and any of like a dark heavy paint, existing paint that we need to cover up so we can put our paint on it. So this stuff is great, really prepares surfaces for new paint application. It also is sandable, so it sands. If you have a rough spot, you can sand it out with a sanding block. All right, so the next step in this one was our ceilings. This is a ceiling paint. It's a very flat, no color or light color white paint. It's very specific for ceilings in that it hides a lot of errors, and it really does a great job of kind of filling the space, is what we say with color. It really is it's hard to explain, but it really just gives a nice, even, consistent surface that you can see everywhere. There's no covering up the ceilings with anything. It's all one consistent surface, so it's important that we don't have lines. Everything blends in together. It covers up errors and things like that. Great product here, the ProMar. This is our favorite line of paint. And again, we use the ProMar from Sherwin-Williams on all of our walls. Outstanding product here. Great coverage. A gallon of this will cover 2 gallons of Valspar or anything you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. And that stuff is really not quality paint. They sell to the homeowner and to the retail crowd, and they're just pushing gallons out. This ProMar stuff is really nice from Sherwin-Williams. They also make a ProMar 400, which is a few more dollars per gallon. I have actually not been able to get a better product or better finish out of the 400 than I do the 200, so we always go with the low VOC on the 200. This is our trim paint. We use this ProClassic stuff on all of our trim on all of our projects. Baseboard, casings, interiors of windows. We'll paint cabinets with this sometimes. Really outstanding product. Extremely hard finish. Very hard, which makes it very good for cleanup. A lot of the trim and case work that we have in projects gets touched by hands. It really has a lot of texture or fingerprints on it over a couple years, and this stuff is easily clean. You just put a little bit cleaner on it, wipe it down with a rag, and it cleans right off. It really is a great product. So we are big fans of the Sherwin-Williams products. As you can see, our store here locally does great work for us and really helps us out with great recommendations and things like that. Jody in there, she really knows her stuff, and they help us out a lot. All right, you can see Ray's cutting in with a brush in the prime areas. This is just a primer coat. Mikey's priming the ceiling behind him and getting all of our drywall stuff covered up and sealed up real good. You can see he just uses a roller on a pole in a little pan and just evenly coats it. Ray's using just a 2.5-inch angle brush and just cuts in those edges. We'll do the same process when we go ahead and paint everything with a little more detail, just because there'll be white paint up here. This will all be white up here, and this will be, I think our color is like a gray, an off gray color on the walls. So that orange will be covered up. But you can see we've got everything covered up in the space. All the plastic over all the countertops, all the cabinets, everything's covered up. Our floor is covered up with rosin paper. We don't want to mess up that new tile we just laid last week. So yeah, so we want to make sure everything's nice and covered and nice and safe, so we're not dripping paint anyway. All right, so Ray's cutting in now. You can see it's kind of a gray color, kind of a grayish, look, a little bit of blue tint to it, but this is the process called cutting in. What we do is we go all around the perimeter of the room where it meets the ceiling. We'll do all the inside corners. He'll drop down both sides of the inside corners, and he'll do all along the trim and the baseboard and around the cabinets everywhere with a coat of that, all right? After he does that, then Mikey or he will come in and they will roll the wall. They'll put an application of paint on the wall with a roller. So that's how we get the whole thing covered. So Ray's got the first coat on in here. He's working on the second coat now. Looks pretty good. Nice even walls. Really, the prep time on this stuff makes a huge difference. If you prep properly, there's not a whole lot of rework you have to do. 2 coats of even paint will be enough to cover up a wall that's properly prepared. Sometimes you can get away with a coat of primer and a coat of paint without a second coat of paint. But yeah, this turned out real nice. We're real happy with it. Really defines the space. Defines the room, the ceiling the offset with the white, the cabinet offset with the white. You can see we still got to paint the trim on here, but you can see on some of these places where it's really looking better, really looking a lot better. All our cabinets have been installed. Everything's set up. We have countertops coming in the next 10 days to 2 weeks. This Corona thing is kind of messing with schedules a little bit, but all the walls are evened out and painted. All the trim is painted. Trim matches the cabinets now. It really makes that paint stand out really well. We've got the appliances installed, everything except for the dishwasher, which we'll do after the countertop gets installed next week or the week after that. All right, so thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of Lincoln Logs TV. If you guys like what you see, hit something in the comments or hit the subscribe button. Again, none of this happens without you guys. Coming up, we've got a little bit of a siding repair, a little 5-minute Friday we'll do on that job. And then we've got countertops coming. We'll do an episode for that. And then we'll have our tile backsplash, which we're going to try to do our first time lapse of that one. So again, appreciate you guys logging on and appreciate the likes. Have a great day.